Hello, 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 everybody. I hope everyone is having an amazing day. It's Fab Friday. I don't know about you, but I'm so truly, truly grateful. I'm so truly blessed to see another day, to be able to come on here and to share with you, to encourage you, to motivate you, to challenge you, all those things so that you can get to the next level of being who God wants you to be. Who am I? I'm glad you asked. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I am Prophetess Trish Morissette, the CEO visionary for Trish M Ministries. I am also executive pastor at Mind of Christ International, serving alongside my fabulous, wonderful husband, Pastor Derek Morissette. So if you're in the Alabaster area, make sure y'all come visit us one Sunday at 11 o'clock a.m. Cafe opens at 10:30. Have to shout out my church, Mind of Christ International. And to each of you, thank you so much for tuning in. You could have been anywhere. You could have been doing anything, but you dropped in to check me out right here on Periscope or on Facebook Live. So on today, I'm going to be very, very quick because my day is like boom, 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 boom today, y'all. So, but I still cannot neglect what God told me to do and told me to share with you on today. I wanted to encourage you. And I wanted to tell you something that God said, that God gave me this morning. It was such a something so simple, but yet something so profound and something that will make you sit and think and be like, Okay, so today I want to tell you to sit down for a second. Take out your pen and paper when you get a chance, not necessarily right now, but sit down for a second. Take out your pen and paper, and I want to challenge you to redefine you. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Redefine you. I don't want to know what it was that you did last year. I don't want to know who you were last year. When God gave me this, he said, redefine you. Listen, the next thing that he gave me, we already know the things that we want. The things that we need, the things that we desire. We already know that, right? We already know. We got a vision, we got a plan, we got a strategy. We want God to manifest this blessing. We want God to manifest that blessing. But when God gave me redefine you, he said, redefine you based on what I want this year. Oh, come on, somebody. That's so good and it's so powerful. Listen, listen, listen. Okay, so we already know what we want. We already know what we desire. Many of us do anyway. Some people may be a little confused about what they want. But for the majority of people, we know what we want. But God said, how many times have you taken the moment to say, God, redefine me. God, I want to be redefined by who you want me to be. I want to do what you want me to do this year. I know I got all these plans and all these dreams, but I never took the minute to ask you, God, what do you want? God, what do you desire? God, what do you need from me? Redefine me in the way that will be pleasing to you. I know that I believe in you for so many great things. See, this is a time of intimacy where we are just really humble, because I talked to you, if you tuned in earlier this week, I talked to you on Facebook about humility. This is where you're humble enough to say, it's not about what I want in this season. I know, that God is going to bless us with certain things in this season, this time, and this hour. But how many times, how many in your prayer life have you actually stopped and asked God to redefine you based on what he wants for you? Redefine your dreams and your ambitions this year based on what he has for you. What if God you believe in God for this job, right? But what if God had something totally different for you? What if God had something that could surpass your understanding, but all you're focusing on right here, right now is the same thing that you've been believing God for? And then we wonder sometimes, why has it not been made manifest? Because a lot of times we're praying our will, but we're not praying God's will. And so in our redefining us, we want to ask God to give us his will in this season, this time, and this hour. What is his will? Is it his will for reconciliation? Is it his will to transfer? Is it his will to get on this new job? Or is it his will to do something totally different? But the problem is, we'll never know if we don't ask. We have not the wisdom of what God's will is for our life because we simply don't ask. The word says that we have not because we ask not. When will you get in a position where you say, you know what, I'm going to ask God, is it his will for me to get married this year? Is it his will that I bear children this year? Is it his will that I start this business? Is it his will that I begin to do this or do that this year? Is it his will? A lot of times we have our own mindset of what the year is supposed to look like. And then by the end of the year, we're disappointed because guess what? Things didn't happen. Things transit. This happened and that person. I lost this. The person, I fell out of relationship with that person. And we never took the time to say, God, what is your will for me? Redefine my year by your will. Give it to me. Give me an ear to hear what you are saying. See, Jesus Christ himself had a moment where he wanted his will instead of God's will. But what he did was such a powerful move. He prayed and he asked God, or he told God, he said, you know what? This is my will, that the cup pass from me. Because if it was Jesus's will, Jesus wouldn't be on the cross because Jesus was flesh at that very moment. If it was Jesus's will, he wouldn't die, for us at that very moment because he already had the mindset that he was called. He knew what he was called to do. But it's sometimes when you get in the midst of hurt and pain and agony and frustration, you forget God's will. You forget God's plans. You forget God's desires. And all you can focus is on that very moment, how nothing is going the way that you plan for it to go. But could it be that it's the way that God planned for it to go? Could it just be that part of God's will was for you to struggle, was for you to go through, was for you to be hurt, was for you to be rejected? But we don't see that because we're praying our will and we never take the time to say, but thy will be done. See, Jesus had a moment where he was so frustrated and he was so broken. He was so hurt. He was so sick and tired of being sick and tired. And he said, you know what? My will is that this cup pass from me. My will is that I don't go through. My will is that I suffer not in this very moment. But he had a moment where he said, nevertheless, I'm not praying my will. I'm praying your will to be done in my life. That if I gotta suffer, if I gotta go through struggle, if I gotta go for broke, if I gotta struggle with relationships, if I gotta go another year without having a baby, if I gotta go another year with my business not prospering, if I gotta go another year just on this job that I can't stand, nevertheless, not my will, but your will. Because I'm in a season where I'm redefining who I am based on who God needs me to be, based on what God needs me to go through. Will I like everything that God has for me? Absolutely not. I may not like it at all. I may get ticked off. Matter of fact, I may get mad with God. Believe me, I can testify to that I was one that was mad with God because of, guess what? His will. I was one who was mad with God because of his plan. I was one who was mad with God because my will was not manifesting. And so God is saying in this season, I need you to redefine you based on me. Oh, that is powerful. Redefine you based on me. And in redefining you based on me, you simply have to trust that my will is excellent, that my will is perfect, that my will lead you into all truth, that my will lead you into a place of prosperity. You see, here's the thing about God. Sometimes God will take us to a pit based on his will, but in the end, he'll lead us to the palace. Oh, that's so powerful. See, Joseph had a mindset of what his will was going to be based on what the dream that God gave him. So he knew that, you know what, my will, I'm in alignment with that thing that God showed me. I'm in alignment that people going to bow down, big baby. I'm in alignment that I'm going to be a ruler and a reigner over everything. I'm in alignment with that thing. And so Joseph knew what his will was because it lined up with God. But see, God didn't tell him that, yeah, Joseph, I'm going to bless you, but there's a situation that has to come with that. So Joseph, what I need to do with you is redefine you based on my will. See, if it was Joseph's will, Joseph would go straight to the palace. That was God redefining who Joseph was based on his will and not Joseph's will. And so God had to redefine me based on him, not me. And so I found myself, when I was mad with God because my will wasn't manifesting, I also found myself repenting because I already knew that what God had for me was going to be a blessing. Even though it was a struggle, even though it was heartache and pain, even though I was emotionally distraught, I want you to focus on that this year is the year that you redefine you based on God's will. And what does that mean? It simply means that you accept God's plan for your life, that it may not all be peaches and cream, but in the end, you will be blessed. And this is going to be an amazing year for you. If you believe what I'm saying, and if you don't mind redefining your life this year for 2018 based on God's will, because when you do, prosperity is going to hit your hands. Favor is going to come upon you. Blessing and increase is going to be all around you. Just ask Joseph. Joseph had to redefine himself based on God's will. Joseph had to embrace the process based on God's will. And in the end, Joseph was blessed. And God's word did not return to him void. Yes, you're going to have a lot of great things in life, but sometimes the process may make you think otherwise. So don't be afraid to redefine yourself by God's will and who he's called you to be. Because in that is your blessing, your favor, and your breakthrough. I hope this blessed somebody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And y'all having an absolutely amazing day, amazing weekend. I love you with the love of God. Be blessed. And we'll talk soon. All right, guys.